Many people say that they want to write a book, yet 9 out of every 10 people who start writing a book never finish it, leaving one of their biggest dreams unfulfilled. So, what is it about the 1 in 10 people who do finish writing their book? What do they have, and what drives them to complete their books, their plays, and their songs? Welcome to the Editor's Desk, where we explore their writing experiences, their motivations, and their struggles. And now, here are your hosts, author, writing coach, and self-publishing guide, Lynn Everard, and author, Louise Gomez. It is Thursday afternoon at 5:30 p.m. in South Florida, where it has been raining like crazy, but maybe there'll be some sun appearing very soon. I'm Lynn Everard.
Hi everybody, I'm Louise Gomez, and I managed to escape the raindrops. I just creatively ran in here, so I made it in dry, thankfully.
Well, we needed the rain, we just needed it to be more convenient.
Exactly.
Right? So, on our show, we've had authors of books.
Yeah.
Last week we had some singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
And since you and I both have sons who have an interest in film and did film studies, we couldn't leave out
absolutely
the people in the world of film.
I agree.
And so we are bringing that to you this week.
Yes, we are.
So would you like to introduce our guests?
Yes, we have. Well, let me read their bio because they've done so much, and I want to make sure that I don't leave anything out because they're very accomplished and very successful. So we have Tod and Jolana, and they're both Hollywood insiders. Tod moved from New York to Los Angeles right after film school. He worked for many years as a film editor on movies such as Independence Day, Spider-Man 3, and TV shows such as Scrubs and Damages. Tod was also part of the writing team at The Simpsons, 20th Century Fox. He completed a lifetime goal by writing, editing, directing, and starring in feature film comedy. Psychedelic Pictures presents Puff, which is actually currently on Amazon On Demand. And Jolana Opava oversaw the production of Puff from development to the final mix. Jolana designed all sets and costumes and also starred as Zsa in the movie. Jolana moved to Hollywood from the Czech Republic. She started out designing, sewing her own clothes, painting, and comic and acting. Jolana worked on many commercials and movies as a costume designer and sets starring Mel Gibson and Jon Favreau. Tod and Jolana are now focusing on 2 main goals. One is to raise money to shoot their second feature film, The Hippie Vampire, here in Florida. And the second one is actually helping authors to turn their books into screenplays. Now that will come in handy.
Yes, it will.
Especially for a lot of people.
Yeah, and we're delighted to share their trailer for their movie Puff with you.
Yep.
So let's roll that.
Let's let it roll.
Jesus Christ, man. Do you realize you have absolutely no body hair?
We were just saying how real men have hair on their chest.
You smoke 70% of the THC in the first hit.
What is that, some kind of old stoner wisdom? Only minions take those piss tests, Jaxo. It's a test of will.
What you want is my finest artisanal hashish cultivated by 1,000 virgins.
Jessica doesn't like real men because she likes them completely hairless.
She probably prefers women.
I can't believe Jessica smacked Vinny in the head with that iron.
Oh, an iron!
Hey, Vinny!
I will destroy you and that despicable long-nosed friend.
You want to get together and discuss religion and politics tonight?
No. Besides, it would be much more fun just to gag you and let my dog lick your balls.
Mock me if you wish, but I'm a real man.
I like smoking too, but it's not a religion.
Every successful person I know smokes pot, so go figure.
You know, olives help grow hair on your chest.
The turtle's poking its head out for some sunshine.
You can just suffer until I get satisfaction.
Let's get married. Where the fuck did you come from?
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, weed is good.
Did I ever tell you that I always carried with me a vial of liquid acid?
Jaja, this looks like the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
And now,
Oh my God.
we'd like to welcome Tod and Jolana to the show.
Yes. We're so excited to have you here. And tell me, how did you get your movie on Amazon? Because I know that it's probably, I would guess it's a difficult feat, but tell us, how was that experience for you?
Well, the thing is that we entered film festivals all over the world. We ended up screening in Cannes, and we got this midnight screening. We got a lot of people to go. Then we went to the Venice Film Festival, and from there, someone told us you have to go to Toronto, and we've been sending it to other places that we didn't go. So we drove to Toronto, and we had no one to watch our cats. So we brought our two cats, Jake and Elwood, Blues Brothers. And we got an Airbnb that we could take it. We got to the border. The border guard's like, oh, cats, of course, it makes sense. Every Canadian brings cats. So, and of course I was like, take off, eh, you hoser. You know, then whatever, then he thought I was Canadian. But the point is that we got to the film festival. We end up at its party late night, lots of cocktails, lots of champagne. And I'm like, I'm the only one who ever brought my cats to the film festival. Someone goes, you know, I have my cats here right now. And it turns out he's one of the main buyers from Amazon. And after talking with him, you know, and showing him the trailer, we worked it out that I could get on in the US and Canada. And if I did well enough, get in other countries. And now we're on in Austria, Germany, the UK, and we just got on Japan. So, you know, if right now, Amazon, go Puff or Puff Film, and you find it, and it's... it's a 90-minute film. You watch it on the TV. It's good that it's on Prime, because then people can watch it and kick back, have a cocktail. And I think that what we want most right now is to kind of let the air out of the tire, like Chappelle said, like laugh a little, like what's beautiful in life.
Yeah.
What do you get if you win?
Yeah.
What if everything works? What if all of your issues come through, your social issues? Do you have a glass of wine? Do you dance with your wife? Do you have a great meal? I mean, what makes life worthwhile? And that, to me, is what Psychedelic Pictures is about. And
Yes, and he forgot to mention that he also, it wasn't just the cats, it was the fact that everybody was wearing a tuxedo, which Tod had one as well, but instead of the bow tie and a white shirt, he had his Hawaiian shirt with a lot of chest hair. So people were kind of like, you have a lot of chest hair showing at the party.
because a real man has chest hair.
And that's from the movie, so.
And it's because when I was young, I always lifted weights, and all these guys, they shave their chests. They act like, you know, and I always thought, you know what? You know, a real woman, she wants a man with some hair, because maybe she wanted some woman. Well, you got the smooth skin, like nice curves. You kind of look like a woman. So, and then in the movie, his girlfriend leaves him for a woman, which all sorts of mayhem ensues.
Well, I got scared because I love olives, and you're like, olives grows hair in your chest. I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble because I love olives.
My grandpa used to say that. It's, don't eat too many olives, grandson. You're going to have hair on your chest. Better than hair on your palm.
And he's so hairy, and he hates olives, so.
I don't hate olives. I love olive oil, though. You know, it's a mystery.
You know, I was going to say, how did you get this creative process? But just from speaking to them, I think I could tell this is just part of, like, you know, their personality, like just shining through. But so how do you feel like inspiration comes to you? I make up that it's because you guys are just naturally like this, so it's easy. But how do you feel that inspiration comes through for you?
Well, this is something I've actually thought about for a long time, because I think that in any situation, the thing that helped me be able to find and make a film is you have to do the thing that you're doing. In other words, if you're writing a scene, finish the scene. Don't worry about the whole movie. If every scene is good, you can figure out later where it goes.
Oh, I like that.
And so there's two main things to go to that. One of them is the idea of, well, in A Movable Feast, Hemingway, great book. It's kind of a semi-autobiographical. He got this terrible writer's block, and he was skiing in like Switzerland, and some guy says, I know what you do. If you're almost finished at the end of the day and you know, I've just got to do this 2 or 3 different things and I'm done, stop writing. Because then when you start the day, you're finishing off something, you don't have to think at all. You don't have to wonder if there's no blank page. And he said once the blank page was gone, so was his writer's block. Because once your mind gets moving in the groove, then it's a lot easier. And the other thing is, you know, if I always say when I get to page 60, because the average script is about 90, that I know I can finish. And writing an ensemble piece really helped me because there's a certain amount of math that goes with writing. So let's say you have 10 characters and you're at page 60 and you're not sure how to finish it. Aside from the 3 acts, which is another thing we'll talk about, you can do, on my program, I can do a list of how many characters have how many lines. And I see that you want most of them to be the same, except for maybe the star who has more. And you say, wow, you know, 2 characters have 150 lines and all the other ones have 120. So I need to write a scene with these 3 characters. And then you just pick a place to have it and you figure out where it would go the best. And then you say, okay, where are we at the plot? And many times by doing that, by doing something you didn't choose at all, you'll be forced to fill a plot hole that you thought you didn't have. And it'll many times end up being the key to what works.
So that was something I was going to ask you about, because one way to write would be just to have it flow through you and just write all the words, fill in all the gaps, you know, and stay stuck in a spot if you didn't get it all filled in. But another way is to go through and kind of create these vignette frameworks, right? To where you create a framework and then you go back and fill it in, but now at least you have the idea that you get to go back and fill in. So do you do both, one or the other? How does that work for you?
I think it really depends what we're writing. When we were writing the TV show, there's a lot of characters. Then maybe we have an idea where we want to end up, but sometimes something funny happens in the middle of it, and then we go different directions. So it really depends.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is that there's no rules. And I think the second that you try to, I love systems, like I say, I love numbers, but you can change from one to another. And now, like I figured out Puff, how do I get an audience to like watching like 4-minute movies to watch a 90-minute movie? Well, it's in 4-minute pieces, and each one has a different song, a different speed, a different color, a different movement, a different vibe. So suddenly, wow, it's something completely new. And the peaks are almost like a concerto, like the music is another character, and it builds and builds and builds. There's a big peak, and then even though, again, it's different, it goes down again. And the second act goes up, 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 and the third act is the biggest thing. And this one ends up being a wedding, you know, and then you explain everything. This is what everything means, and all the relationships get tied up. But I think that you can get too lost, because the thing is that you're constantly working against the characters. That's the thing I think. Like, that's why I think you should write the end first, because let's say you want at the end the character to be redeemed and to forgive their son, but then they're having a conversation. The son was like, hey, I remember when you had that hooker after mom died. Whoa, what's that? And you don't know what the guy's going to say, and it might go really far away from redemption. So then it's constantly bringing you away, and you got to steer it back, basically.
It's something you said that I love is what I actually did when we were writing our book was there was a piece of something that I liked. I just wrote it and said, I'll figure out where it belongs later, but let me just flow with it. And you kind of alluded to that. So I was like, oh yeah, I did that. I did that in a couple of chapters of our book. I was like, I don't know where this is going to go, but it's just going to go
Absolutely.
somewhere.
If you have something, like I come up with like a dirty joke, or
Yes.
I see something, you know, kind of like, I'm a huge fan of Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. So, because they always turn something that they, you know, experience being online or being annoyed at the dentist office, and then they use it and put it in a humorous situation. So if that happens to us while we're driving to the beach or going to a store, then I write it down, and then I can use it that happened to one of the characters, because we write comedy. So a lot of the stuff we turn in from like real life, or if I come up with a really dirty joke, that's always good too. So.
and real quick, what transmits, because you said you love Seinfeld, I can tell watching the clip. I mean, I saw the movie, but just watching the clip, it has that Seinfeld-ish type of, I don't know, it just has that New York vibe. Me being from New York, I felt that transmitted just in the trailer alone.
Yeah, it's the kind of
Fast talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything.
But that's a little bit Woody Allen, and it's kind of, I mean,
it's a
there is racism
Seinfeld,
in
Woody
it.
Allen,
Yes.
and a little bit of Cheech and Chong, you know, because
love
there
it.
is the psychedelic element in that. So
And
that's
some of that just comes out of our history. I've been working 20-hour days on movie sets, and you can only drink so much liquor when you know you have to get up in 5 hours and work another 20 hours, you know. But you smoke, sometimes that helps you fall asleep. But I also, you know, it's occasional. To me, it's just a way to tell a joke. Like Jerry Seinfeld said, he loves drug humor, but he can't take it because he's never taken any. But every premise works. Well, I got high, and then, you know,
I saw an
a
elephant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a pink elephant. See, great minds think alike.
Well, one of the best things about Seinfeld was they could take the most mundane thing that didn't seem to matter at all and build an entire episode around it, and have all of these different people coming into the storyline, and then even stuff that didn't seem like it would fit, somehow it fit in the end, right? When they brought it all together.
exactly, because there is so much conflict in your regular life, just your
Your
everyday.
wedding day could be the worst day of your life before it's your best.
Yeah, you got it. That's why you don't have to, you know, do murders or anything like it, because there is plenty of shows and plenty of people and you know, thrillers and things. For us, it's more going with the regular life things and try to figure out what's funny.
And I know you guys have other things coming down the pipe, because I feel like you have such creative juices flowing that you can't stop. So I know you're working on a couple of other projects. You want to share anything that's...
Well, we before COVID hit, we actually, because of distributing PAF on Amazon, we went to a bunch of film festivals, and we made a very great friends in Italy, in Venice Film Festival, which is awesome because
you take boats from the premiere to like
a
dock. You take boats from the pier to a dock, and then a guy comes out and it talks with champagne. It's like ridiculous.
So we met producers who were interested in our project, in our second feature film called The Psychedelic Picture Presents the Hippie Vampire. And we got an Italian lawyer, and we had everything set
Italian
up.
Producer, great
nice.
producer.
We had everything set up to be
you
shot.
had the script?
We had
the
scripts.
script we've had done for years.
Okay.
Yeah. I have 7 screenplays, and then Puff is the 8th. And I've written like 5 for hire. So I've written 9 screenplays. We just wrote a 10-episode TV series called The Lounge, 10-hour-long episodes.
Nice.
So we've been spending this whole time just preparing and writing, which brings us back to the question.
So Hippie Vampire, yes, the script was ready, and we had a business plan and a pitch deck and presentation, and we actually, if you shoot in Europe, you can get a lot of different grants and incentives. If you shoot like in Italy or France, in a different province, and we were planning to shoot in Rome.
4 different parts of Italy, each won $100,000.
And so we had it all set up. Wow. We've also
another 500.
we were quite a big of a movie star attached, and then you know, then the world got shut down. But instead, we actually got lucky because we got another script to write for hire, and then work brought us here. To beautiful Boca Raton in Florida, which is absolute paradise,
we wrote
and
a movie
we love it.
that sold to Netflix right after we wrote it, which didn't hurt because it also, then I got a bonus, and actually we had money.
Nice.
Suddenly we had a bunch of money for months. And so we've been doing that in between because, you know, you're raising money, which is a little harder, you know, hustling around. Although we've already raised part of the money for the Hippie Vampire, and we've been talking to people because the thing is that right now, nobody has movies. Like there's this, the Venice Film Festival just happened. Right now, everybody's getting ready to, Toronto is about to happen.
Nice.
And they're like, expect a lot of small films to be bought. And so the thing is that if you can get something made, get it done with a star, and get it done for less than $3 million. People say 5, but the average film now selling for 4 or 5. You know you can make your money back. Now, you can get 20% back on your money, and right now in the stock market, you can't get it anywhere. Now, it's a risk. But the way I look at it is that at the end of every year, you always have a certain amount of money you can just pay to taxes, or you can roll the dice and you can invest in something, whether it be a writer or a novelist or a screenwriter or a movie or any kind of artist. And I always think it's really good because right now, if anything, we really, really need people to be inspired. We need people to shine a light.
Yes.
And I am committed, and so is Jolana, that we're not just here for ourselves. This is a group sport. We're gonna, if you're out here, you're making movies, come talk to us. Psychedelicpictures.net. We're building a team. We're building a family. We're gonna make many movies, and we're gonna make a lot of people smile. I promise you.
And we want to shoot it here. We want to shoot it here in Broward and Palm Beach County because Boca is just so incredible. They are beautiful, just the whole Meisner Park. They're beautiful historical buildings, and and we love the swamps and alligators, and just it's just it's beautiful, yes. Perfect for hippie vampire.
I love
Perfect for hippie vampire.
You know what they say? It's like Ireland. Everybody's at the bar, you know, because there's colleges. There's like 110,000 students or something ridiculous, and there's old people, young people. So you literally, you got a 2-year-old and you got a 75-year-old. The 2-year-old hopefully doesn't have a cocktail, but it is Boca, so.
Oh, I love it. I already want. I'm like, I want to roll in them. I'll be an extra.
Well, yeah,
you got it.
You got it.
This is good.
This is really nice, and I really like what you guys are doing. People need to go out. They need to be creative.
Yes.
And the thing is that I think really getting to the end, it has to do with writing one scene at a time, and don't get too attached to one thing. Sometimes if you could like just write a list of places that you think could be good for a location, and then a list of stories that you've told people. A plot is like sometimes 2 lines. Are you going to get married? Yeah. Then what do you do with the other 5 pages? Well, someone tells a story. And then while they're telling the story, someone's trying to say, I don't want to get married. You know, and trying to, you know, like that's how you find that extra juice, because you're constantly telling stories or you wouldn't be writing. So remember them and write them down. And you're going to find a place to use them. Pretend like it's film, like you're editing, like, and you already have the film shot, but you do, it's just in your head, it's a story. And so you got as many stories as you want. You just have to remember them and put them down on a piece of paper so you can kind of reference your own kind of creativity in a way.
So there's an area that I'd like to dip into a little bit if we could, and that is that some of the people watching our show may be, you know, burgeoning producers, screenwriters, and you know, it's not just as easy as walking in and somebody hands you $1 million and says, go make your movie, right? And there's also the ups and downs of the process. And it's, you know, you were talking earlier, Todd, about, you know, even in the trailer, the music and the crescendo and all those things. But I would imagine that your life sometimes reflects that. In terms of what you're going through. And also, if we think about, you know, well-known comedians, right, that also struggled with some issues themselves to be able to do this. And so, you know, if you could maybe each mention one thing that has helped keep you going when times were not as easy as you had hoped they would be or thought they would be, I think that would really help the people in our audience to be able to do that.
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that, because I do want to know if they could speak into just one thing that kept them grounded and kept going, right? Because that's really the premise of what we want to share.
Well, I think personally, if I'm having a hard time or try to figure something out, I usually go out, see friends, or preferably live music.
Live music.
We like a lot of, you know, hippie bands. We are a huge fan of the Grateful Dead and bands like Fish or the Disco Biscuits. So going dancing, sweating, and figuring things out, that's usually works for us.
Yeah, it's too loud for people to use their phones. I mean, aside to film, I guess. But.
And I watch a Seinfeld. That's what always grounds me and inspires me. That's how I learn English.
That's great.
I love it.
You know, for me, physical activity, which dancing is the best.
Yeah.
Like we went to see the String Cheese Incident, which was one of the first concerts at the Halloween, last Halloween. And I danced so hard, and I felt good for a week. I had a smile for a week on that night dancing. I probably lost 5 pounds just dancing that night. But the thing is that also going swimming. We go swimming every day. Now, you guys, some people can do that, but any kind of workout, if you feel terrible, get out of the house, go for a walk, break a sweat.
Yeah.
It always works. It always works.
So true.
If you can get your blood flowing, you will feel better. there's really nothing else that completely works. Thinking about it will just make it worse.
Or a nice martini.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
But only one.
You make some good martinis. That I can say for sure.
So what would be one piece of advice that you could give filmmakers of the future and screenwriters and people who are just starting out? What would be that one thing that they could carry with them as they look to develop their career?
Don't give up.
Thank you.
Don't give up. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Because there is so many naysayer in everybody's life, especially when you try to do something artistic, and you know, people go, "Oh, is it gonna make any money?" And you know, you have your parents' voice in your in the back of your head, and you just have to center and do it. I'm not saying that you just should, you know, quit on life and start living in a tent just so you can be an artist. I'm just saying, no matter what job you have, and try to have, the actually great advice is, keep a job. Let's say you want to write. So that's what Tod did. He got a job to assist the writers on The Simpsons.
Nice.
If you want to be a musician, maybe if you know,
go work in a music studio.
Yeah, go work in a music studio. Like
go work at the union that represents musicians. You'll meet every musician in town.
You know, if you want to become a chef, you know, go to school, but maybe get a job in a restaurant. It's simple as that. Try to have doing something creative.
Yes.
And because by the time you help other people, like when Tod worked in the editing room, he had a vision how he would like the movie to look like, but he had to listen to the director. Because just like if you're writing a screenplay for somebody, you gotta listen to your clients.
Right.
And that will actually help you though to figure out what you want, and then you're hoping that when it's your project, you find a like-minded individual to help you. It's kind of what you know, goes around comes around thing. So if you're trying to be just creative, just don't give up. Just keep on going, you know.
That's great advice. Thank you for that.
I think everything Jolana just said is amazing. I totally agree. I think being optimistic, being positive, especially about yourself, give yourself permission to be successful. You deserve to have $3 million. Yeah, of course they're going to give you the money because you deserve it and you earned it. You have to think like that because nobody else is going to think like that for you. And you know what can make you feel good is you know you're going to treat people with respect and love. You know that. You know that for a fact, so you're not being arrogant. Yes. So the thing I would say, the one thing is make a feature or make something longer. That's all. Learn how to tell a long story. Don't just make a short film. Sacrifice something more than a Saturday.
Yeah.
Give something. Lose something. Feel it.
Awesome.
I mean, we were eating 99-cent store food, and the next day they flew us to Venice because they were screening our film. I swear to God, I was on a yacht.
I love it.
Like,
so we have story like that. We are late on rent, but then we're drinking champagne in the south of France. So that's
actually amazing.
Yes.
But that is really, when you're living life full out, that's the kind of stuff that can happen.
Yes.
Right? Because
we've had incredible things happen.
There's the miracle, but there's the lull, all the stuff before the miracle. We want to thank you both so much for being our guests today and for sharing what you've shared with us. And I'm sure it's helped a lot of people. Our guest next week is going to be author Frank Ruffalo, and Frank wrote a book about sex trafficking.
Yeah,
it's also basically a screenplay kind of thing as well.
Yep.
And so if you're a person interested in film, go to psychedelicpictures.com, check out what they have to offer.
.net.
.net, I'm sorry. It was on the screen at one point. And thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Even if you have never written a book, you are still an author. In fact, we all are. In every moment, each of us is writing our own unique story that we call our lives. Because many of us are, as in the lyrics of the Dan Hill song, Sometimes When We Touch, writers still trapped within our truth. If this is you, why not start writing your thoughts in a journal? It will help you get your truth on paper and could just be the start of your own book. And don't forget to join us here every week for the next edition of The Editor's Desk.